Good morning, everyone. I'm Liz Jennings, Employer Engagement Specialist with CareerForce. We've got 2 minutes before we're going to start. I just want to welcome all of you today to this event. A few housekeeping items. Please turn on subtitles or closed captioning at the bottom of your Microsoft Teams environment. There should be a little CC button or another little button that indicates subtitles. Different platforms have different symbols. Over the next hour, you can ask questions in the Q&A box. That's the little chat button with the question mark in it. Subtitles are available in English as well as Arabic, Hmong, Spanish, and Russian. And I've also posted a Microsoft form just asking you to sign in, just as if you were walking into a real room and we'd have you sign your name on a sheet of paper. I just mark off the attendance in the MinnesotaWorks.net framework just to count the number of people who showed up. So I appreciate if you do that. Hang on for 1 more minute and then we will start. Okay, it's 10:30, so let's get started. My name is Liz Jennings. I'm Employer Engagement Specialist with CareerForce. I'm happy to welcome all of you to today's virtual career fair, which we're holding in partnership with Mosier Foundation. This one specifically, we're going to be talking about inclusion, LGBTQ, and inclusion within some of Minnesota's top companies. As we get started, a few housekeeping details. Please ask questions in the Q&A box, the little symbol that has the question mark in it. Turn subtitles on if you wish in either English, Arabic, Hmong, Spanish, or Russian. There's usually a little CC button down at the bottom of your Teams live environment. And please sign in the Q&A area. There's a link to a Microsoft form. That's private. It goes to me only. And I use it simply to mark in MinnesotaWorks.net that you attended this event. Today, we're so happy to welcome the following companies: Land O'Lakes, Anderson Corporation, Allianz Life Insurance, City of Minneapolis, and Hormel Foods. But most importantly, I'd like to welcome my co-host for this morning, Nick Alm, Executive Director of Mosier Foundation. Nick, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much, Liz, for the introduction, and thank you so much to Deed and CareerForce for hosting us today. We did not plan, as you might have thought we planned this, but we did not plan to hold this event on what is now one of the largest, one of the most biggest wins in LGBTQ civil rights history. If you haven't heard the news today, the Supreme Court decided in our favor 6-3 that Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 now bars discrimination against lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people in the workplace. Yesterday, you could be fired in 29 states legally for being transgender. Minnesota was not one of those states. We've had protection since 1993, which is another huge win for our state. But I would highly encourage you, if you haven't, spent some time when we're done with our call today to read about that decision, because this will go down. This will be a top 10 win in the LGBTQ civil rights movement. So very timely that we're having this discussion today. Very excited to hire and work with companies to recruit LGBTQ talent. So let's get it going. This is Mosher's. These are our 8 areas of focus. Mosher was founded about 5 years ago with a mission of enabling employment equity for LGBTQ communities. We do training, education, consulting. We host a big conference every year, and then we host a large LGBTQ job fair that will be in Q4 this year. Mosher was founded, I should say, due to the fact that about 46% of the LGBTQ community is still in the closet at work today. Think about that. 1 in 2 people, LGBT people, do not come out at work. Minnesota as a state is losing about $500 million in productivity due to this issue. And so Mosher stepped in with these 8 focus areas to begin to address that. And so we work with top employers on a variety of issues, from how to recruit LGBT talent, working with employee resource groups and change management strategies, policy, compliance. We do a lot of work on the global LGBT strategy front. Unfortunately, in 70 countries, you can still be put in jail for being LGBTQ. And some of the companies you're going to be hearing from today, they have offices in those countries. And so we help corporations and employers navigate that reality. So I'll stop there for right now. We're really thrilled to have these employers join us today. I want to thank the employers for stepping up and making this a priority. These employers were selected by Mosher and our partners because we have seen them in action. We have identified them as top employers for the LGBTQ community here in Minnesota. So I feel confident and proud to have them on this call today. And with that, I'll hand it over to, I think there's maybe one more slide, Liz, with our sponsors. But that's all I have for you. Oh, I should probably say a word about this too. This is our Proud to Work Minnesota conference. I'll talk more about this at the end of the call, but next Tuesday we kick off a 4-day virtual conference for LGBTQ workplace advocates. This is for HR professionals, diversity and inclusion leaders, LGBTQ folks, and allies. We have a scholarship that I'll talk about later too for students, anybody experiencing unemployment right now. And all of that work, all of the work Mosher does is made possible by this really stellar group of sponsors right here, many of whom are on the call right now. So as always, thanks to our sponsors, and really looking forward to hearing from folks today about the LGBTQ situation at Minnesota's top employers.
And we are having trouble getting Ryan unmuted. Oh, there he is.
Sorry, you froze up a little bit on me, so I'm not sure if you were talking to me there.
Right. Go ahead, Brian. You're up.
Thank you. So good morning, folks. My name is Ryan Selesky. I am one of our senior recruiters here at Land O'Lakes. We're just going to talk a little bit about the company and our high-level overview of our commitment to diversity and inclusion. If you want to go to the next slide.
Okay.
So a little bit about us. We are a Minnesota company. Our corporate is here in Arden Hills. We got our start in 1921, so almost 100 years ago. We started off as a dairy co-op. Commitment to our members was join our co-op, and we're going to buy your milk from you every single day. You bring it in, we'll buy it, we'll turn it into products, and help you get the resources that you need and share the profits with you. Over time, we've gotten into a couple other businesses that we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. If you want to go to the next slide. So again, a little bit about us. We are a co-op. We're just a really big co-op. So we're the third largest co-op in the country. And what that means, being a co-op, is we don't have a stock price. So we're member owned. We are owned by our co-op members, and as an organization, that's who we work for. Is try to give them the resources they need to make their lives a little bit easier. We do operate all around the world. So we have presence in all 50 states in the US, as well as over 60 countries across the globe. We've got a little over 10,000 employees, just under 300 facilities here domestically. I'm going to go to the next slide. We talk a little bit about our businesses. So I mentioned we got our start as a dairy co-op. So that's our Land O'Lakes brand, right? When folks think of Land O'Lakes, they tend to think of butter, right? Hope you guys are buying our butter. My wife thinks I'm making butter right now. It's kind of what we're known for, but it's actually one of our smallest business units. So we do about 14 billion annually. We do about 2-3 billion in the dairy space. So that's our Land O'Lakes brand. Now I mentioned we gotten into some different businesses. Winfield United is our agriculture business. So that's our crop inputs and insights. What we're doing is we're selling seed and crop inputs. So anything you would put onto the plant or into the soil. That's our Winfield business. The types of roles that we hire for there are any sort of like business function, right? So your IT, your accounting, communications, marketing, stuff like that would go with any business, as well as sales folks out in the field that have an agriculture background, agronomists that have a technical agricultural background. And again, we hire for Winfield all across the country. Our feed division is called Purina. Again, we call it Purina because Land O'Lakes is the butter company, right? You don't buy your feed from the butter company, you buy it from Purina. But we're all one company. It's just different divisions. Now within Purina, what we're doing is we're feeding animals. So farm animals, zoo animals. We do not sell dog and we don't sell pet food. Nestle owns that piece. So it's farm animals and zoo animals. Again, we operate all across the country, all around the world. And what we're doing is trying to improve the nutrition of the animal in order to get better performance out of them. Now we got into that business, if you think about it, because we're a dairy co-op, and the quality of the diet of your cows is going to play a huge factor in the quality of the milk that's produced. Types of roles within Purina are the same as from a business standpoint as we have on the Winfield side. But then we have sales folks out in the field that are selling on farms, selling to our co-ops, and then all the technical folks like PhDs in animal nutrition that are working on the different formulations to help with the animals. We talked a little bit about our butter, our dairy division within Land O'Lakes. Largely the types of roles that you're going to find there at our production facilities. So we have production facilities all across the country. Where folks are actually taking in the raw milk and turning it into the different products that we sell. One of our newer business units is called Sustain. Just got started a couple of years ago, just really getting their feet off the ground. Sustain is basically taking care of the land. So it's helping our farmers, our producers, with different ways to better take care of the land after they're done farming. Can I go to the next slide? So since we're talking about inclusion today, I want to give you an overview of what we do for our employees once they're on board. So we do have 11 employee resource groups. This is to further our commitment to diversity and inclusion. All employees are eligible, both at our corporate office here in Arden Hills as well as all across the country. What it really is, it's an employee community that's interested in providing education through a few different pillars. So it could be education to our broader employee base. It could be engagement within the community, as well as just an opportunity to network internally. The types of activities that our ERGs take part in are like lunch and learns, like opportunities like this. So either virtual kind of webinar deals where we can talk about a topic, we can share information about what's going on within the different ERGs. Like the news in the LGBTQ community today with the Supreme Court is something that our Pride Alliance, will be scheduling a call to really inform folks on. They all have a budget that's supplied by the company, and it's really employee driven. So every ERG has a leadership council made up of employees that sits down with their executive sponsor and really drives what they would like to accomplish. Some of the ERGs really just want to do networking events and just get together and have like social outings. Others are more active in the community, but it is employee driven. I'm going to go to the next slide. Oh, that's it. Again, my name's Ryan. There is my email address. I've also included a link to our career page. Lots of cool stuff on there. So it's pretty interactive where you can see different things that we're doing as a company. It'll give you an idea of the kind of opportunities that we have available. It'll let you see a little bit more about our ERGs. It'll let you see the cool things that we're working on. And I'd encourage you all to go and check it out, take a look at Land O'Lakes, and hopefully consider us in the future.
Hey, Ryan, what?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the dreaded echo.
Question?
What positions are you currently hiring for?
Yeah, so we're a big company, right? So we have positions all across the board. I mean, me in particular, so about 99% of what I do is sales folks. So I'm hiring sales folks for our Purina division, for our feed division, as well as Winfield United, which is our agriculture division. So I'm hiring sales folks. If you have an animal science degree, if you know anything about nutrition, I'd love to talk to you about Purina. If you have an ag degree, you want to get out there and sell, I'd love to talk to you about Winfield. But we also have all of those business functions. So we always have finance, accounting, IT, communications, HR, as well as production positions. So any sort of warehouse, any sort of forklift, any experience working in food manufacturing, we'd love to talk to you. It's a pretty broad brush because we're in quite a few different businesses and have quite a few different locations. Is that helpful?
Yes, yes. Anything else? Final words?
Thanks for having me.
Great. Oh, hey, we just had one come in, and let's ask this too. A job seeker says, my mother works in the Winfield branch. Would that disqualify me as a nepotism worry?
Only if you're going to report to her.
Okay. Okay.
And you know what? We never want to be short-sighted with talent, right? And giving folks opportunity. So typically when something like that happens, if it's a candidate that we really like and they're they have a ton to offer, we'll try to find something else for them if a situation like that pops up.
Sure. Great. Thank you very much.
You betcha. Have a good day, folks.
At this point, I would like to welcome Anderson Corporation team. We have Jen Swenson, Kelsey Juvette, Scott Stitsworth, and Tracy Gibson with us today.
Thank you, Liz. Good morning, everyone. We are excited to be here. I'm Jen Swenson, one of the talent acquisition managers at Anderson, and my colleagues Kelsey and Scott will be sharing in this presentation with me this morning as well. We are excited to share about Anderson and loving the life that we see. This tagline and part of our brand is really special and important to us because it fits in very well with the mission of Anderson, and that is to make the world a better place by living up to the promise that everyone benefits from their association with us. So as an employee of Anderson, as a customer of Anderson, as a community partner of Anderson. We really want to ensure that you are loving the life you are seeing in your connection and work with us. So next slide, please, Liz. So we really love at Anderson being orange. It's all of our favorite colors, and that really speaks to our mission and our values and how we work at Anderson. But what is even more important is our employees, and our employees being them, and so being you, and coming into work every day truly as your authentic self and contributing and being a part of our work and helping us create a very inclusive workplace. And so Kelsey is going to share a little more about that philosophy and opportunities to get more involved in our diversity, equity, and inclusion in just a few minutes this morning. Next slide, please. So I want to share a little bit about our organization this morning, and in addition to sharing some facts about how we began and where we're located and our brands and products, really wanting to share with people why Anderson is such a special place to work. And Scott is going to have the opportunity to share some of our current opportunities with you, as well as different locations to become a part of the Anderson team later in the presentation. But really, that's a theme that is a part of all of the work that we do here on every single one of our teams. And so as a 117-year-old company founded in 1903, that philosophy of working all together is something that started our business, and something that definitely holds true today as we work to be a very inclusive culture at Anderson in all of our locations. It's also our promise to our customers as we work with different client groups across the country. We are headquartered in Bayport, Minnesota, so the beautiful St. Croix Valley. That is our largest door and window facility, and in addition to offices there, we also have our corporate administrative offices just up the hill in the Oak Park Heights Stillwater area. In addition to the Anderson logo and familiarity you may have with those products, we are marketed under other names as well, and so Renewal by Anderson is also a product and brand that is very familiar, especially in Minnesota. And those products, that window replacement division is in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, so here in the Twin Cities area as well. And then our Emco brand is actually out of Iowa, and so we have locations in Iowa as well. Weiland is a part of California, and so locations, as you can see, really from coast to coast. And then we were very excited to bring MQ into our portfolio in a recent acquisition because it gave Anderson the opportunity to go international. And so along with manufacturing sites across North America, we are now in Europe and Canada as well. And our Heritage brand is actually out of Arizona. And in addition to Heritage, we are also very excited about a brand new facility that is going to be opening in Goodyear, Arizona in the near future. And so an opportunity for Anderson to continue to expand in both our professional and our production opportunities in that part of the United States. We are a privately held company with more than 8,000 employees. And like I said, with the opportunity to continue to expand in the Arizona area, we are excited about how we are continuing to grow and continuing to grow our products and things that are helping our customers really be energy efficient, to be safe, to be incredibly innovative with our products. And that is really what falls into our, mission and values, as I said, in that special place to work. And so really looking at us as different and better products and services, that is what's going to allow us to continue to be the leader in the industry. Brands that people value and trust. And so when I kicked off the presentation and talked about, everyone having a positive association with Anderson, that's truly what we mean and what we strive and work for. And that world-class customer experience, because we are only going to be as strong as the experience that our customers have. And so that's incredibly important to us as well. And to talk a little bit more about our Be Orange, Be You philosophy and learning more about a special place to work. Liz, we can go to the next slide, and I would like to pass it to my colleague, Kelsey Juvette.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jen. Jen just shared a lot of great information about Anderson and what we stand for. As she shared, Anderson was founded 115 years ago, and it was really founded on the philosophy of all together. So all together to Anderson means that everyone is welcome here at our workplace, and our collective efforts will lead to our shared success. Today, we are still very committed to the notion of all together, and we do encourage our employees to bring their entire authentic selves to work. We are really focused an inclusive and diverse workplace where everyone feels valued, empowered, and respected. Anderson is currently dedicated to being an employer of choice, and we have a huge commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. One of the ways that the idea of all together at Anderson is showing up is by offering a variety of employee resource networks, all of which you can see listed below here. Our employee resource networks are also set up this very driven by employees in the group, and these ERNs each year meet to create goals for the year and have a lot of support from their executive sponsor and I would say all over leadership at Anderson. These ERNs do allow our employees to engage in the groups they feel very passionate about, and they help to better both the Anderson community and the communities in which we work and live. The main goal of these ERNs is to really engage, educate, and to support our employees, and again, who is associated with Anderson. In June, this is Pride Month, and so it is important to celebrate all of our ERNs year round, but especially June for Pride Plus, which is our LGBTQ ERN. We are really excited to have a vision and overall a mission that demonstrates the type of company Anderson is and continues to show our employees how much they are supported and really encouraged to be their best selves. All right.
All right, thanks, Liz. So again, I'm Scott Stitzer, talent acquisition lead, here at Anderson, and excited to talk a little bit further on what Jen touched on with our current opportunities. And as Jen alluded, we've got several locations throughout the United States, but the 5 on your screen are particular positions that we're looking to fill right now here in Minnesota that we're excited to be hiring for at the current moment. Here in Minnesota specifically, we do have our corporate administrative offices in Oak Park Heights, just outside of Stillwater, and then also our manufacturing plants in Bayport, Cottage Grove, and North Branch, Minnesota. In addition to that, we do have 2 retail locations highlighted on here as well, in St. Cloud and Roseville, which is part of our Renewal by Anderson division, which is our window and door replacement division. So again, we're very excited to be highlighting these positions with you today. To tell you a little bit more, we typically are also hiring for anywhere from engineering, supply chain, finance, IT, HR, sales, marketing, customer service, and also manufacturing production associates. Not to mention, we even have a logistics team where we're looking to hire CDL drivers, warehouse associates, etc. So a lot of opportunities across Anderson, and it's really all levels of experience. So we definitely encourage you to check out our website as well, andersoncareers.com. It's a great opportunity to go online, learn a little bit more about our culture. We've got video testimonials from current employees and things like that. So definitely encourage you to check that out. Also, if you go to our site and are not seeing an opportunity that really aligns with what you're looking for, we definitely encourage you to also join our talent community. It's an opportunity to really go through and select the areas of interest that you're particularly targeting, and we'll actually contact you once positions get posted that align with what you're looking for. So just another way to stay connected with us, even if you're not seeing exactly what you're looking for at this present moment. Next slide, Liz. And again, this is who you've heard from today from Anderson, just to put a face to a name, but Jennifer Swenson is our talent acquisition manager for our enterprise corporate opportunities, Kelsey Juvette, talent acquisition manager for Bayport Manufacturing, and then myself, Scott Stittsworth. I help lead our campus and internship program and new grad opportunities. So we'd love to connect with you further. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us and introduce you further to Anderson and really share why it's a special place to work here, and we'd love to help answer any questions you might have as well.
Yay, thank you very much. We are running just slightly behind time, so I'm going to move on to Allianz. But yes, grab their email addresses and I'll be sending out this PowerPoint to all people who pre-registered for this event so that you can contact the Anderson team and all of the recruiters after this is over. So I'd like to welcome now, get to the slide, Robert Reed from Allianz Life.
Yes, thank you very much. And on this first slide, you can see the offices for Allianz Life in Golden Valley. And so as you move to the next slide, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about Allianz. So we were founded in 1896, so we're over 125 years old. So our local office is in Golden Valley, just off of Highway 394 at the Xenia Park Place exit. We have a campus there with over 2,000 employees, lots of great amenities on campus, and you can find out about some of those things on our website. Now, Allianz Life is a part of a much larger organization called Allianz. And so Allianz is our parent company based in Munich, Germany. And so Allianz is a publicly traded company. We're number 45 on the global Fortune 500 list, and we're the third largest insurance/financial company in Europe. So we have 140,000 employees across the globe. And so we sell quite a wide variety of insurance products and have a variety of financial services available. So these include things like life insurance and annuities, health insurance, auto, property casualty, specialty, corporate insurance, reinsurance, investment services, and and the list goes on. So we provide quite a wide variety of insurance and financial services. We're also a big sponsor of soccer. So we sponsor Allianz Field, as you've seen in St. Paul. So hopefully you've had a chance to enjoy a game there, or maybe you'll consider that in the future. But Allianz sponsors 8 soccer fields or stadiums throughout the world. And so locally, talking about Allianz Life, so that's the company that I do recruiting for. So we're the life insurance and annuity company for Allianz here in the U.S. And you can move to the next slide. So we are the #1 fixed indexed annuity provider based on sales in the U.S. And so we have some great things that we go talking about, but we're on the Fortune 100 Best Companies to Work For and Working Mother magazine and on the Star Tribune's list of great places to work. And we also have a 100% score on the HRC Corporate Equality Index. And so we have a number of employee resource groups as well. And so moving to the next slide, I'm highlighting one of them, but we do also have employee resource groups for women, for Black employees, for people in the military. So, we have a variety of other employee resource groups. But we also have Allianz Pride. And so we have over 300 employees participating locally, but Allianz Pride is also a global ERG. So not only do we have a local meeting and a local presence, we also have a global presence. So everywhere from Paris and Munich and London and chapters in Australia and New Zealand and all kinds of other places. We have this international connectivity within Allianz Pride ERG. And so, of course, Allianz Pride is to support the LGBT community and its causes through inclusion, ally engagement, and education and community involvement and outreach. So we also not just think about what we're doing for our employees and having meetings and discussions and supporting ourselves individually, but we're also out in the community supporting different organizations like Reclaim and the Aliveness Project are just a couple examples of things that we support in the community. And we're also working with Mosier to create a former LGBT recruiting program. So we're right in the middle of creating a whole formal recruiting program around LGBTQ. And so this is something that's real exciting. I think we're kind of on the leading edge of what we're doing in that area. Not a lot of companies have formalized programs around recruiting for LGBT folks. And so talking a little bit about some of the opportunities that we have available. So I'm just trying to represent the different departments that we're hiring for right now. Of course, I'm the IT recruiter, so we have positions open in information technology. Of course, being an insurance company, we have operations in actuarial, and we also have what we call operations. So these are going to be call center, business analysts, and other back office processing type positions in insurance, marketing, sales, distribution, and general management opportunities available as well. So that's just some various highlights, but you can find out more about our career opportunities at allianzlife.com/careers. And so that also hooks in with our other opportunities. So we have some other sister companies here in the US as well. You may have heard of AGCNS, PIMCO, Allianz Partners. So those are other Allianz companies, and you'll be able to see opportunities at those companies as well. So, and I've talked really fast, but I'm open to answer any questions.
That's great. Thank you, Ryan. No questions have come in, but I'll tell you what, if anyone publishes any Q&A, perhaps you can answer the questions behind the scenes in the question and answer area.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to welcome Tracy Gabrelchik of City of Minneapolis. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Liz, and I am very excited to be here and be a part of this career fair today. Anybody who's looking to connect after this presentation, feel free to reach out to me either by email or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll put my information in the Q&A box as well for everybody. So if you want to go to the first slide, Liz. All right, so this is just a quick kind of overview of a little bit about the city and working with us. So at the top of this slide, you can see our employer brand logo, which we were very excited to launch around 2018. We brought together a number of people throughout our organization, leadership and individual contributors, to find out what does it really mean to them to work for the city. And it really revolved, everything came back around the community and careers. So working with the city is directly servicing our residents and helping Minneapolis be a great place to live and also to work at. So we currently have, we have 24 departments across the city, over 4,000 employees, and we service over 400,000 residents. Within those departments, there's a variety of positions. So you can imagine kind of the quote unquote typical type jobs like IT, communications, HR, and so some of those positions may be a little bit behind the scenes. You may not see all those people all the time, but then we also have a variety of jobs that are resident focused or resident facing. So that can include our public works departments, everything from solid waste and recycling to engineering to transportation. Also have positions like firefighter at EMS, community planning and economic development. So the list kind of goes on and on of different types of opportunities and jobs. Within the city, another thing about us, like everybody else kind of mentioned for their organizations, we also do have a variety of employee resource groups that any employees can join, and they can also take part in activities, even not being a member of each group. So it's very open and inclusive to everybody within the city. We also have a dedication to diversity, inclusion, and equity. And that also starts with our hiring process. And in a couple slides, I'll go through some more about our hiring process, but we operate on what's called a civil service hiring, which means it really is revolving around that equity piece to make sure that we're being inclusive and welcoming of everybody and that we're fair in our hiring processes. A couple other things just to quickly go over about the equity piece is we have a race and equity group that works on the strategic race and equity action plans that work with other departments throughout the city. We also have our Transgender Equity Council who helps host and put on the Trans Equity Summit that's annually. We have some work groups who work together on facing or community help or issues needed in different communities around Minneapolis. Then growth is encouraged as well. I always like to point this out because we do have I consider quite robust internal learning and development team and opportunities where it ranges everything from leadership development training that you can take internally to trainings around unconscious bias and cultural agility. So we actually have, as part of our annual reviews, we are reviewed on cultural agility and how well we work with others not like us. And that's something that we're very proud of, that we look at and we pride ourselves on working to get better at, because everybody does have a way that you can be better at working with others not like you. And then last but certainly not least, competitive benefits. So that's everything from pay to vacation to we have family bonding leaves, maternity leaves, etc. So it kind of runs the gamut of things. So any other further questions on that, I can definitely elaborate more, but just to kind of keep things flowing, Liz, you can move to the next slide. And we have had a couple other positions other than this dispatcher that have opened since the slide was put together. But right now we do have 911 dispatcher positions open. The application deadline is today, so it is a little bit short notice, but that is open. We also have a it's called a Green Infrastructure Coordinator, which is a principal urban designer that's also open in our Public Works Department. And then we also have some of our voting positions that have been posted. We do have a program assistant supervisor, 6 openings there. So you can also see a list of what is or may be coming soon through, I would say, throughout the summer. So we kind of have a lot of different positions that are going to be coming up. A lot of positions around election, our intergovernmental relations, inspection, security. We do have IT, public works, and animal care and control. So if there's not something posted now that somebody may be interested in, we do have ways to sign up for job alerts on our website. So I encourage everybody to do that, to keep an eye out if the city is someplace that you would like to work now or in the future. And then next slide, Liz. And then this is just kind of a quick application overview, since if anybody hasn't applied for a position within the public sector, our applications are maybe a little bit longer, a little bit different than other places. So we do have online only applications. So if you would like to be considered for a position, online is the only way to apply. Applications must be complete. Make sure you have a valid email address and your legal name is required, and then include all documents that are in the posting. And that link right there, minneapolismn.gov/jobs, is the main page to get to look at open positions that we have, benefits information, sign up for job alerts, all that kind of fun stuff is all at that website. And then last, to close out my section, is a little bit more information on our application process. As I mentioned, since it is a little bit different, we do have a couple different steps that are included. So I always like to give some information on that. So as I kind of mentioned, applications are online only. So once you submit an application, we review the candidates typically all of our positions do have an application deadline. So that's one thing to look at to make sure you get your application in by then. After that application deadline is closed is when we do start reviewing applications, and we do still have people who look at every single application. So there is physically a person reading your resume, reading your application. And then we do have some training qualifications that training and experience qualifications that need to be met. So typically, as you can see, testing kind of comes up in some cases. It's kind of job specific, so it may not always come up. Interviews happen, job offers extended, job accepted. So there is a few different steps in the process and to just kind of be mindful of. We also do have veterans preference. So that's something I'd like to bring up as well, where we do need, that's one of the documents that we do require as part of your application. And then last but not least, some people may have experienced or heard that sometimes applications do take a little bit longer to get through, which can be true with our process being a little bit longer, but this gives kind of some approximate timing. So appointed and civil service positions 1 to 2 months, typically from the time of position opening to the time of a hire. Any police, fire, large academy hiring typically takes about 4 to 6 months, but that's just because they have some other qualifications that need to be met. So again, I know I went over that kind of quick, but wanted to give everybody a little bit of an overview of what it looks like for applying and joining the city. Like I said, I'll put my email address and everything in the Q&A box. So if anybody wants to reach out or connect on LinkedIn, I am always open to conversations.
Thank you very much, Tracy. This is really good information, and especially because City of Minneapolis has a very clear hiring process, that flowchart is really helpful.
Absolutely.
Good, thank you. Welcome now to Hormel Foods. Joining us today, we have Katie Lenway and Adonis Wooten-Heron.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. I really appreciate it. So just to get started, my name is Adonis Wooten-Heron. I am a corporate recruiter here at Hormel Foods, and I do have Katie Lenway, who is also our supervisor of recruitment, to chime in if there are any questions throughout. But we are here representing Hormel Foods. As you can see, we're a globally branded food company located here in Austin, Minnesota, but we are global. And so we actually span our business across 75 countries worldwide, and that'll kind of dive into a little bit more about our culture and things of that nature. And so kind of moving along, just to give you some background on Hormel, we are a company that you probably might not know the parent company of Hormel, but you know our brands. And Liz, we can move to the next slide there. You know our brands, and we're globally branded. So we really believe in that brand family and that brand strategy. And so some of our top brands, whether that be internally grown or acquired throughout the years, really stand and set a precedence in the market. As you can see, we're holding at least number 1 or number 2, share in the marketplace in over 40 categories. And so that really identifies with the scope, depth, and breadth of our consumer base, but also the reputation and the culture that we have to uphold in order to continue to serve those different consumer bases with our brands. And so kind of diving in a little bit, I alluded to that, and we can move to the next slide, is just to talk about our culture and talk about our employee resource groups, right? So understanding a little bit, not just about what we do on the front end with our brands and our company, but how do we then foster that conversation and that inclusivity within the workplace? And so we are made up of some employee resource groups like other businesses and companies have talked about before, representing those different kind of counterparts and processes and communities there. And what you'll see within a lot of these different employee resource groups is they involve allyship as well. And so making sure that we have a place to foster that inclusion, to educate, but also have that safe space within our organization. And that really funnels into our culture beliefs as well, seeing what we build our culture on at Hormel, what we build our day-to-day operations on, whether that be looking at results or keeping safety first from both the food safety and physical safety of our employees, growing talent, speaking up when you see something that's wrong or seeing something that you don't know, building bridges with new employees, internal employees, and our external customers and counterparts, creating those solutions and challenging yourself to think differently. And in specific, as we mentioned before, it's Pride Month. And so shedding some light and showing some focus on our Age Proud employee resource group and how we've been able to foster really that inclusion and foster those conversations internally. And so Age Proud and Allies within Hormel Foods specifically is to promote a safe and equitable work environment for our individuals and our employees that identify, but also with our allies, making sure that we have a chance to provide that space to bring those LGBTQ plus issues to the workplace, but also making sure that we are aware of how that impacts our employees. It's also taking it a step deeper or step further into that process. And so we do have LinkedIn learnings as well as instructor-led processes and different courses that can be taken on allyship, on cultural competencies, on communication, on just being self-educated in the space, but also taking some time to partner with our top tier brands internally to promote that message of inclusivity across. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, the Spam Pride shirt, which is new this year, when you talk about inclusion, but also involving the brand and also making sure that your business is attached to that culture. So as you can see, it's really being able to create that safe space for our LGBTQ plus community, but also for the entire organization as a whole to be able to be as inclusive as possible. And so when you start talking about having inclusion or having a culture that represents that, you start thinking of, okay, what career opportunities can I hop into, or what career opportunities are there at Hormel to join this culture or to be a part of that change or continue to facilitate that. And this final slide here will cover a lot of what we offer from both an entry-level process or entry-level standpoint, as well as a experience standpoint. So if you're wanting to be within the plant environment, we do have that production supervisor role open where you are managing a team of 15 to 30 people, that strategic leadership. You have quality and process control. Maybe you come from a food science background or a plant animal science or a meat science background. And so you really have a chance to really look at that within our plant environment. Or maybe you're industrial engineering, or maybe you are another form of engineering to fall within our maintenance category, whether that's chemical, mechanical, any of those processes, electrical process, any of those things. You have your strategic sales as well that will be located throughout the U.S. And so you have our consumer product sales, which is retail. You have food service, which is dealing with restaurants and universities. But we also have the analyst side of IT, that is programmer or data or tech, looking at those tech backgrounds, analytics backgrounds, but we also carry accounting and finance. So whether you're accounting, looking for accounting opportunities, finance associate, things like that. So we do have a spectrum of roles that you could be or jump into or dive into here at Hormel, and you could find those at hormelfoods.com/careers, as you see there. And I also left my contact information right there. Here at Hormel, if you do see a role or see anything that you're interested in, send a quick note or chat with me on LinkedIn and we can talk about the process there. And so that is just a little bit about our organization.
Thanks, Adonis. One question that came in said, does your Hormel careers site show listings for all your other brand or subsidiary locations? This person searched for accounting and finance and got results for working on a hog farm as a technician.
So yes, it will show all of our roles across all of our different family of companies. And if it doesn't bring up a role that is particularly specific to that, that role may not be open at the time. But it does bring up roles across the enterprise at all of our locations, as well as all of our subsidiary locations as well.
That's great. No other questions are coming in, but certainly keep an eye on it and we can answer the questions as they're typed in.
Absolutely.
Anything else, Hormel, from Adonis about Hormel?
I think that's it. A lot of the
That's it?
information that you can find, or if you want to dive in a little bit further to our corporate social responsibility or some of our initiatives within the community, we have all of that available and we are very transparent with that on our site.
That's great. Thank you very much for being here today. I'd like to transition back to Mosher Foundation and invite Nick Alm to tell us a little bit more about the Proud to Work conference next week, how to register, who's speaking, all of the details, please.
Thanks, Liz, and a huge thank you to all the employers. This was really informative, and I'm loving the discussion that's going on in the Q&A here. For folks on the call, either on the employer side or the job seeker side that want to become or improve their LGBTQ advocacy in the workplace, you can head over to mosier.org/proud-to-work. The conference next week will include 22 live breakouts over the 4-day period. And the good news is you get access to our full video library. So you hypothetically don't even have to make any of the live sessions next week. You're going to get 60 days of access to the conference with your ticket. The conference is twofold. Half of the conference is really technical business strategy work, talking about LGBT inclusive benefits, transgender inclusive healthcare, policy, self-identification programs, employee resource groups, that kind of thing. And then the other half of the day, or the other half of the conference, is really spent on what I would call the consciousness raising portion of our conference. It is hearing from a panel of transgender employees about their transition on the job. It is hearing from a panel of Black LGBTQ leaders talking about what it means to be both a person of color and LGBTQ at this moment in time. We'll be talking about white supremacy in the LGBT community, and a lot of our programming has shifted slightly in light of the murder of George Floyd, in light of our renewed commitment to the most vulnerable parts of our community, the transgender community, Black and people of color, folks with disabilities. You're going to be hearing a number of presenters and speakers talking about that intersectionality piece that is so important today. So join us for the live 22 sessions. Watch it on your own, on your nightly walk with the dog. You can do either, but head over to Proud to Work. And again, if you're a student, if you're somebody experiencing unemployment, we do have a scholarship on that same page that's listed right here. Head over there, fill it out as soon as possible, and we will be sure to get you into the conference. We want everybody on board. That's all I have for the conference. Stay tuned. Again, for Q4, we'll be doing a much larger LGBTQ job fair in partnership with Deed again. So I want to thank Deed for making this smaller pilot happen today. This has been gotten some great insights into how we want to do the larger career fair.
It's our pleasure. And yes, many thanks to you, Nick, too, for pulling this together. And thank you to all of our companies that have been on the call today. This is fantastic information. Just wrapping it up today, I just want to remind everyone on the call that CareerForce has numerous virtual events happening at any time. The 2 URLs down at the bottom, or basically you can go to careerforcemn.com. Our virtual and interactive services page has all of the upcoming CareerForce from Anywhere online events. We have job clubs, interview skills, resume writing workshops, and we can also get you in touch with a job counselor if you'd like someone to talk to about your job search. Next week, in this Monday virtual career fair environment, we will be inviting employers who provide tuition reimbursement opportunities for their employees. We're calling it Earn and Learn Employers, and my partner is the Min State system. So the system of 2-year and 4-year public colleges in Minnesota. And then the week after, June 29th, public and charter school positions. There are so many opportunities in all of our schools, whether they are distant learning or in-person learning this fall, they are hiring. So please watch that space for upcoming events. My colleague Heather Isaac from the St. Paul CareerForce location is on the call too today. Heather, I think you have a couple of events going on. Can you just say a few words about those?
We are sponsoring computer training classes through Transcend Adult Education, and they do have classes available this week and next week. They are typically introductory classes, introduction to Google Apps and introduction to Microsoft Office. And they are planning on adding some intermediary levels probably later this summer or early fall. And those, of course, are virtual as well in a Teams environment.
That's good. And people could find out more through the events portal. Go to careerforcemn.com/events and then type in St. Paul, and the location-specific events would come up for that. Good. Please contact me, everyone, if you have questions. liz.jennings@state.mn.us. Our Career Force Help Desk continues to be a resource for any Minnesotan. You can email them at careerforce@mn.us or email them at 651-259-7501. And look for new jobs posted online at minnesotaworks.net at any time. So thanks again to Nick Alm, all of the employers, and all of the job seekers on this call today. And best of luck with your job search over the next week. Bye-bye.